So, which of these go-fast hatchbacks rules the hardest? You knew this comparison test was coming. The moment Toyota literally slid the GR Corolla across a stage for its big debut, we were wowed by its "that is a Toyota" audacity and 3.0 HP, racing-derived 3-cylinder engine, 6-speed manual, and adjustable all-wheel drive system. Its bogey for true greatness was clear even then. The Honda Civic Type R's been our favorite hot hatch since 2016, when for the first time in 30 years of Honda's Type R sub-brand, it was sent to America. Could a Corolla go toe-to-toe with the House of R? Are you kidding? Nope. There's no joke here. The 2023 GR Corolla, whose name ties it into the same Gazoo racing sub-brand behind Toyota's GR 86 and revived Supra sports cars, arrived as a legitimate hot hatch competitor. It packs 300 horsepower from a racing-derived turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, a standard 6-speed manual transmission, and an adjustable all-wheel drive system inside a Corolla hatchback body puffed up with adorably chunky fender flares and a gulping front intake. Right on cue, Honda unveiled its new 2023 Civic Type R, a heavy update of the previous generation with new styling inside and out that largely retains the old model's mechanicals, the good stuff. It remains a 300 plus HPH compact hatchback with a 6-speed manual gearbox, firmed-up suspension, and a looming rear wing. Having felled all of its all-wheel drive competition, and with the front-wheel drive, Hyundai Veloster N's exit this year becomes the lone front-drive hatchback with more than 300 ponies. To see whether Toyota's GR Corolla could topple the Civic, pulling off what the also-AWD Volkswagen Golf R or now-defunct Ford Focus RS could not, we ran the two side-by-side down our favorite back roads outside of Los Angeles, as well as on the streets of Willow at Willow Springs International Raceway, to find out. Toyota doesn't merely try upstaging the Honda with an extra-driven axle, nor is the car merely wild. For a Corolla, it is wonderfully, gob-smackingly weird, period. Its 1.6-liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder G16E GTS engine is borrowed from Toyota's Rally Homologation Special, the global market GR Yaris hatchback, and tuned for even more power, down a cylinder and some displacement on the Civic's 2.0-liter i4. It nonetheless packs 300 horsepower and 273 lb-ft of torque. Topping Morizo Edition adds an extra pound of turbo boost and makes 295 lb-ft. The mid-level Circuit Edition tested here at least has a back seat. That's right. The Morizo model lacks a back seat, making it a 4-door, 2-seat hatchback. Every GR has a big old knob on the center console that lets drivers select from a trio of options for distributing power between the front and rear axles. There is a 60% front 40% rear split, a 50/50th setting, and 30/70ths where 70% of engine torque goes to the rear wheels. Drivers can call up those splits independent of the drive modes normal or sport, which are chosen via a toggle switch ahead of the torque split knob. Curiously, a huge track button on top of that knob calls up the 50/50th split, not a track mode. Stranger still, setting up the Toyota for maximum attack requires sport mode, even if you've already selected track. Okay then, we're only getting started. You can pull the handbrake while moving, and the GR Corolla's computers cut power to the rear axle automatically, ensuring you can do flagrantly stupid things without needing to clutch in or worry about grenading your center coupling. Available Torsen limited slip front and rear differentials included on the Circuit Edition and Morizo, and optional on the base core model, make the most of the sideways action that results. The Civic Type R at first presents as business as usual. The engine and transmission carry over from the last version. The car even looks less interesting than before, trading its manga Gundam-inspired styling for more subdued, European influence. So drastic is the Type R's cosmetic pullback that the huge rear wing atop racy struts looks almost out of place, hovering above the Civic's clean lines and simple front and rear lighting. In championship white, it is nearly plain, but Honda didn't phone this in. It massaged another 9 horsepower and 15 lb-ft of torque from the K20C1 turbocharged 2.0-liter i4, bringing the totals up to 315 horsepower and 310 lb-ft. And you found seriousness pervades the rest of the Civic experience. Keep in mind, the old Type R isn't a car we describe as having slack in its steering, brakes, or suspension, yet Honda rooted out whatever hidden slop there was, because the new model's controls respond with noticeably more immediacy. Those differences don't show up in the numbers. The 2023 Honda Civic Type R's performance figures more or less match those of the previous generation model, and leave an opening for its competitor. Despite its three-legged dog of an engine lagging the Hondas by 15 horsepower and 37 lb-ft of torque, the 2023 Toyota GR Corolla mostly keeps up at the track. Accelerating from 0 to 60 mph, the Corolla is just 0.1 second behind the Civic. It actually beats the Honda in the quarter mile by 0.2 second, making the run in 13.7 seconds, but moving 4.1 miles per hour slower by the end. All-wheel drive traction helps its whole shot acuity, despite the mechanicals resulting in a 100 pound weight disadvantage against the larger, two-wheel drive Civic. The 2023 Toyota GR Corolla also moves with a disarmingly beautiful flow, the chassis reactive to your throttle and braking inputs and returning cohesive responses from every primary control. As features editor Scott Evans points out, this lends the Toyota an intuitive and confidence-inspiring feel that has you comfortable going flat out by the second corner. For all its whiz-bang drivetrain adjustability, the rest of the car is delightfully analog, with simple fixed-rate dampers and firmed-up springs and anti-roll bars. Toyota perches the GR's body well above the pavement, like a Subaru WRX, allowing gentle body roll, pitch, and dive before taking a firm set. Impact compliance is forgiving, which helps keep the modestly sized 18-inch Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires in steady contact with terra firma even through bumpy bends, and the rubber's thick sidewalls smooth out imperfections enough to make the Corolla commuter-worthy. A short wheelbase 3.8 inches shorter than the Civic's and quick, non-variable ratio steering 2-3 turns lock-to-lock lend the chassis a scrambly, rally car-esque eagerness. At Willow Springs, the Corolla moves around on its tires more than the Civic. It's a Chuck It car you drive it to and past the limit, rotating the rear around with severe throttle lifts, or you just bang the gas through a sweeper and let the tires claw for traction. Stay in it long enough, and you can just neutralize the GR Corolla's mild understeer with the power sent to the rear tires, particularly in the 30/70th split, though many of our drivers lamented not feeling much of a difference between the splits. As for the Civic Type R, track preparedness seems to have dominated Honda engineers' program for this redesign. You can even get the Type R with Michelin Pilot Cup 2 rubber and forged aluminum wheels. Toyota offers that same tire on the pricier, rear-seatless GR Corolla Morizo edition, even on its standard Pilot Sport for seconds rubber. The Civic turned in 1.03 gram average on our skid pad and stopped from 60 miles per hour in only 104 feet. Compare that to the Corolla, which pulled 0.96 gram on the skid pad and needed 108 feet to stop from 60. The Civic also triumphed on our figure 8 course, running it in 24.5 seconds at 0.76 gram average versus the Toyota's 24.9 seconds at 0.7 for gram. Forget the fact the Honda is front-wheel drive. Clever suspension geometry and its standard limited slip front differential encourage you to jump on the gas before apexing, should the need arise. The Civic will yank itself through corners under power. No front-wheel drive vehicle should behave this way, but somehow there's grip for days. Should you need to flick the tail out to swing through a hairpin, the Type R's balanced chassis and talkative, rock-solid steering described by more than one judge as Porsche-like let you precisely design this option play on the fly. And yes, it's just as fun on a public road, where you can securely carry huge speed if you like. You probably expect us to jump in here and breathlessly extol the 2023 Toyota GR Corolla's drifting capabilities, its 70% rear bias torque split, eviscerating the rear tires at will. Not exactly. Like the Civic, you can get on the gas early and use it to adjust your cornering attitude. but the GR responds more aggressively to backing off the throttle than it does to mashing it. For big sideways action, huck it into a corner while dabbing the brakes, or grab the parking brake handle and give it a yank. That's part and parcel with the GR Corolla's athletic puppy vibe. It can and does lunge into action, but with its paws flailing and body heaving this way and that, it's not as successful on the track. In contrast, when approaching a corner, tilt the 2023 Honda Civic Type R steering wheel, which is the same wonderful to hold, attractive unit fitted to every Civic, and the nose dives in without hesitation. The brakes begin to bite from the very tippy top of the pedal travel. Every body motion is satisfyingly starched up. In fact, in every drive mode, this Civic Type R's electronically adjustable dampers are stiffer than before. In comfort mode, the ride is akin to the previous Type R's most hardcore R+ tune. You might count this among the car's few backward steps, where the old model rode shockingly well on its bigger 20-inch wheels and rubber bin-thin tires. Even in R+ mode, the new Type R, on its smaller 19-inch rims and thicker sidewalls, rides decently, if not as well as the Toyota. The longer wheelbase certainly helps, as the suspension is never harsh, and bumps are rounded off with a pleasant refinement and no crashing noises. Hit certain wavy pavement with just the right amplitudes and the suspension set to R+, though, and you'll feel some vertical motion. In a few rare cases, we even noticed the rear end pogoing up and down. Technical director Frank Marcus remarked, "One jounce actually vaulted my butt out of the seat." It never disrupted the Civic's trajectory or left us feeling like the tires weren't in a stable relationship with the road, but it was annoying. Salvation is found in the customizable individual drive mode that allows you to choose from comfort, sport, or R+ settings for the steering, powertrain, suspension, and noise levels, among other things. Most of the judges set everything to R+ and left the suspension in sport or comfort, eliminating the bouncy tail syndrome without giving up much in the way of turn and precision. Everyone enjoyed winding the engine out. Who wouldn't? What with the high-pitched, racy tone, the progressively illuminating shift warning lights atop the gauge hood angrily growing redder, and finally, a beeping chime alerting you it's time to use perhaps the Civic's best feature, its manual shift lever. You can activate an active rev matching mode with the frustratingly involved trip through the central display menus, and only with the parking brake activated. But why? The Civic's positive, short throw shifter and closely spaced pedals make the gear selection dance more of a seduction, inviting yet more comparisons to Stuttgart's finest. Evans declared it the benchmark shifter in anything cheaper than a Porsche. No such magic is infused in the GR Corolla's shifter, which is merely fine, and we can't forgive the widely spaced brake and gas pedals that make heel and toe downshifts a contortionist challenge at best, even for our larger-footed test drivers. At least, like the Civic, there is an automated rev match function dubbed IMP that proves nearly flawless in action, even at the track, and is activated easily via a push button on the dashboard. Most drivers also felt the dour, all-black Corolla standard interior falls flat at more than $40,000, and there are glaringly few special touches in there that match the GR's other highlights, save for the trick digital gauge cluster with humongous gear readouts in every configuration, and supremely comfortable and well-bolstered front seats. There isn't even a center armrest for the driver, and the rear seat, though workable for two adults, has just enough knee and legroom, and not an inch more. No such misgivings showed up in our testers' notes on the Civic, which delivers massively more back seat space, although only 2 belted positions, and nearly 7 more cubic feet of cargo space, again, thanks to its greater overall length. The practical Honda practically tingles with specialness, whether you're driving it to the store or barreling around a racetrack at 120 miles per hour. The beautifully assembled and gorgeously styled interior, blood red seats and carpeting and all, looks like a $40,000 cabin, maybe a $50,000 one. The fact Honda sells this same basic layout sans red R accents for tens of thousands less in entry-level Civic sedans is almost inconceivable. Every key touchpoint feels expensive and well-engineered, from the aluminum shift knob to the sport seats that feel like a firm hug. The absurd wing on the Honda's tail, It's so tall and its stanchion so delicate that it isn't visible through the rear glass in the rearview mirror. Clever. Which brings us to our verdict. As a hilariously fun driving tool with the unique rally car feel, the 2023 Toyota GR Corolla is executed shockingly well. Senior features editor Johnny Lieberman described it as, "The WRX STI Subaru should be building." It has some practical shortcomings as a hatchback, and makes up for them with its smoother ride and its value. Pricing? The $42,900 Circuit Edition we tested just undercuts the $43,990 Civic, which comes one way, save for some paint choices and accessories. If you can give up its carbon fiber roof panel, a fully loaded, identically equipped GR Corolla core model costs just $39,445. We adore it, but the Toyota doesn't lose this comparison test so much as the 2023 Honda Civic Type R wins it with its end-to-end excellence. Not a single major asterisk attaches itself to the CTR. It delivers racy performance, refinement, spaciousness, quality, and a special sizzle that will indulge owners every day, just as a leading hot hatch should.